Now, the crazy thing is, once you understand spiritual warfare, you realize that right when God has something for you, that you are going to get tested in every single way. And the enemy is relentless. The enemy will send people to trip you up, to keep you offended, to make you upset, to have you fall into anger, to test your patience, to try your character, because you are on trial. And once you understand the way the courts of heaven works, the spiritual warfare works, all of the legalities of keeping a posture of repentance, keeping a posture of humility, especially when you're upset with someone, like when someone has hurt you, when someone has offended you, that is when you are the most vulnerable, because it's actually in trauma that demonic spirits can actually have access to you. Those are the access points. If it's not your deliberate sin or iniquity or bloodline issues, generational curses, transgressions, those type of things that come down, if it's not your sin, it actually is also through trauma, because your reaction to woundedness also has a spiritual weight. If you stay offended, if you stay in an unforgiving spirit. So when you're in the process of forgiving, let's say you exercise forgiveness, you release the person, but your soul is still wounded. You actually still have to heal. You're in this very vulnerable place in your soul and in your spirit that you have to stay so consecrated with God so that you're not tripped up into sinning, into judging, into criticism, because you will be held accountable for that as well. The enemy will use any strategic attack to try to get you to fall on your own sword. If he can't get you to sin, he can get you to react. And even though it seems unfair, and it is, the enemy, demonic spirits, they do not get tired. They are relentless after your destiny. And so when you are just at the crossing of, where God is going to move you into deeper understanding of God, deeper revelation, greater maturity, just all of the things that God has for you, the enemy is going to come and try to get you tripped up into, there's 5 bonds of iniquity. And I'll list them for you really fast. It's a spirit of jealousy, the sin of witchcraft, which is rebelliousness, stubbornness, and idolatry. It is the curse of anger and the root of bitterness. Did I say them all? Oh, and the last one, the 5th one, is an ungodly soul tie or an evil soul tie. So which is a relationship. So an ungodly soul tie combined with the sin of witchcraft in rebelliousness, stubbornness, or idolatry. So if you're obsessed with anything, it is the spirit of jealousy, the curse of anger, and the root of bitterness. Those are the 5 areas that the enemy tries to ensnare you, to get you bound in iniquity. So if you're not constantly in prayer and humbling your heart and repenting for even just your anger back at the situation, or even that maybe the injustice that happens, so that spirit of jealousy comes in, or that sin of witchcraft where you are stubborn to forgive, right? So it's the unforgiveness comes from the stubbornness to forgive, because you are stuck on your justification of why you're upset in the first place. The curse of anger, so you're holding on to wrath, right? Which is God's. We have to surrender and allow him to work things out. If you're not constantly repenting and keeping yourself out of offense, out of judgment, out of criticism, the enemy is going to suck you in. So right before God is moving you to another place, the enemy is going to try to suck you into that quicksand. So be aware, friends.